Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and I'm going ahead and coming on early, just a few minutes anyway. I don't really know if YouTube notifies anyone of anything that I do, but here we go. All right. Um, for a while, I didn't do a video on this because the storm path was really hard to pin down. We weren't exactly sure just where it was going to hit. But where I'm at in the northern Houston, Conroe, Montgomery County area, we're getting a tropical storm. That's what we're going to end up getting. And yesterday, there was a lot of traffic on I-45. All of the Woodlands hotels were filled up really quick. So everybody was really rushing around trying to get everything done. Some of my neighbors they split this morning. They're already in, where did they say, Brenham? A lot of people took off to Austin, San Antonio. I'm where I'm at in an RV. It's not really tied down, but we survived Harvey in this, so I think we're gonna be okay. Prayers for that, right? In the meantime, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. If you're here, say hello. And I definitely want to hear if you're anywhere on the Gulf Coast near this, or if you're from the area and you've been fleeing, just, go ahead and write some comments and let me know what you've been seeing while we're having this discussion. Thank you for the like. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. The one thing that we have in our favor is that this is a fast moving storm. Harvey was a slow mover. It wanted to hang out. It wanted to make friends. And but this one, it's just going to move. What I find really interesting on Venture Sky, it's a website that has really accurate forecasts. As far as hurricanes and weather that I've seen in the past. And hello, 13 Just Rat. Good to see you here. I'm seeing 100-mile-per-hour winds on both sides of this hurricane. Once it makes land tonight about midnight, 1 o'clock. I woke up this morning, there was already a good wind here. Maybe an hour ago, we started getting like our first band of rain, really. Just a little bit. There's a lot of gray clouds everywhere, as you can imagine. Also, but it's still hot. When it rained, you could feel the heat coming up off of the rocks. So it's still really hot here. I've been hearing some things like it's unsurvivable storm surge on the coast of Louisiana, 15 to 30 feet. The wind speed, I think that's like a minimum of like 100 is what I saw last time. Let me take a look at Venture Sky. Yeah, wind gusts. Here we go. 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts at 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay. And it's right on top of Orange County and Lake Charles and Beaumont at this time. I mean, wow. I really hope that all of you evacuated safely, or at least made that decision to do that. Also, Galveston is so you can still see cars driving on the webcams. The tide is definitely coming in. It's not very high, but at Pleasure Pier, you can see a lot of gray clouds. Just as it pans around, you can see it kind of going back to dark to light, as the clouds are kind of spinning around. Anybody else here? Okay. Maybe it's just me and this one other person. All right. It says it's going to come in as a landfall category 4, which is not thrilling. Well, I thought that maybe we could talk about the hotels. Okay, we already did that. 15 to 30 foot storm surge that's coming in on the coast. Wow, 140. See, yeah, they're saying that's unsurvivable. Which why that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. The important preps are dry food, water, and propane. But everybody on the news is saying to cut off the propane, cut off your water. And honestly, in my neighborhood, I think they already cut our water off, already had some water put away. But I went to use the tap about noon Central Standard Time here, and there's just no water. So, I mean, that's why you prep. I've also seen, of course, the stores, the usual, where the water's gone, and a lot of the batteries, they're gone, survival things like that, they're gone. And that's why you prep ahead of time. That's why, because I'm always pretty comfortable in my house when things hit, and it's often sudden, animals were being transported out of danger zones. But I want you to keep a special eye out on the animals in your area on your own. I'm going to have my cats in the house tonight. They're usually outdoor animals, but I've given them strict instructions to be home by dark, that they're not going out. I want you to check on your friends. I'm sure a lot of you are, going back and forth and, are you okay? Have you evacuated? Or, you know what I mean? But be sure to check on it. Some people may be elderly. Some people may not be able to get out. They might have handicaps. So do a quick check about, do a perimeter check with your people, your neighbors. All right. Because you just never know. All right. Although I know a lot of you are probably already gone, and I have a friend of mine that I know is homeless. A lot of my friends, one minute they're okay lately, but with this COVID, the next thing they're homeless. And this particular friend of mine, he's living in his car right now. So I arranged for him to come stay at my son's house for the night so that he can weather that storm safely. At least, drier, safer, whatever he needs, shower, he can have it while he's at my son's house. But that's what we're supposed to do for each other, right? We're supposed to work together. We're supposed to be there for each other. And in the aftermath of this, it's going to be needed. We're going to have crews coming in wherever the power outages are, and they're going to start the cleanup process with the wood chippers, because a lot of times they can't get through these power lines until the branches are cleaned up. So that's why it takes weeks sometimes, I'm also hearing that police will not be responding until the winds die down. So if anything is wrong, you will have no help. I need you to all make sure to take a minute to make sure your phones are charged. I also want you to think about taking, those soda bottles, you fill them with water and you freeze them in the freezer, and then you put a couple in your refrigerator, because if you're in this area or outside where the tropical storm area is like I am, chances of a power outage are really, really high. And these big refrigerators, these big freezers, you need to have some kind of blocks of ice in there, okay? Charging your phone, oh my goodness. Yes, I've also heard reports of people herding cattle to higher ground, which is really good, because that's cattle that's supposed to go to market, as if we're not having enough problems with food shortages as it is. Am I right? So we have to protect whatever it is that we have right now. There will be high chances of breakout tornadoes in all surrounding areas, flash floods. A lot of you if you're from these areas, like I am, Houston to New Orleans, if you're like I am, a lot about what's going on between New Orleans and Houston. And more locally, you'll know your flood prone areas. Okay, so we're going to go with, the usual, don't drive through some of these places, especially under these overpasses. They usually have a dip. It doesn't look, don't do it. All right. The chance to evacuate is narrowing. The window to evacuate is. So a lot of you might have to bed down in place tonight. I know I am. Okay. Is anybody else here? Do you want to say hello while you're here? Tell me if you see anything, experience anything in your area. That's really important. Okay. Since I do live in an RV, it was really important for me to fill every single holding tank that I have, for weight purposes, because I'm not really tied down. Just hoping that I have enough. We did have a neighborhood food truck come through yesterday from a church. That's okay. That's okay. They brought a lot of us boxes of food just in case, dry goods, just in case things get to that point, make sure that we have food. A lot of people in the back of my neighborhood were pretty poor. So half the people, they don't have cars. They can't just go drive into the store. And one of my neighbors, she's just come off the chemo and she's sick as a dog. She's, ooh, she's sick, so we have to keep an eye on everyone, You have to know what's going on. In the yard, I already got up this morning and, took tables, flipped them over, put heavy things on top of them. Took my grill and, it sits on these legs, but I can make it in a way where it'll lay down, kind of fold down. So I'm getting everything that might be flying around out of that realm of possibility. You got to be super careful. Yeah, so right now we're just watching the winds just steady. We're watching the clouds. They're moving by pretty fast. There's lots of them. And this is really just the calm before the storm here in the northern Houston area. I should be seeing in my region somewhere around 15 mile per hour speed as just a wind speed, but around 30, 35 mile per hour wind gusts. And, in an untied RV, that's kind of scary. But I think most other people can, like if they've got a house or maybe a tied down trailer, it probably won't be as bad for everybody else. So if we survived Harvey, and we did, then we're going to be just fine. Hi, Trails. Yes, come save me. My Prince Charming. Or Princess. Yes, come save me. I think we'll be all right. Seriously, we will. It's good to see you. But we're praying. My daughter and I, we're probably going to be up in between like 1 and 4 in the morning, just praying our little hearts out for hours with our cats being tightly held in our arms. One of my cats, her name is Shira. She's pretty pregnant. She's preggers. And with a barometric pressure drop about to happen, we're just so watching her just to see if, she's going to drop them babies tonight. Because I tell you what, if she starts going into labor and she won't come in my house, I'm not going to try to get her once that storm comes in. I mean, honestly, when the winds are that high, I can't open that door. I'm strong. I know it's impressive and everything, but I can't fight wind power. That's crazy, especially when they're talking about catastrophic flash flooding. And oh my gosh, I was watching this YouTube video, I don't know, maybe like an hour ago, and I don't know who or what organization caught this, but the lightning like on this side coming in, like at what, dude, the lightning was incredible. Oh my goodness. I mean, so like you might even be looking at like fires, even though, you've got rain, just wow. The lightning was incredible. And, lightning around the world has been really amping up, hasn't it? Like around the world, we've been seeing like plasma lightning. And okay, so you check this out. Oh man, maybe I've missed it in prior games, but I've never seen. I mean, it was just like 4th of July lighting up. It was almost like you could listen to it with a symphony orchestra. The way it was so intense. So be sure to look out for lightning if you do tend to stay, catastrophic flash flooding, lightning, tornadoes, and of course the wind. But I mean, 100. What is this? I mean, I have to look at this again on Venture Sky. Okay, wind speed at 4 a.m. in the morning. It looks like it's gonna be down, and this isn't wind gusts. This is like the minimum. Okay, around Lake Charles, gonna be 53 miles per hour. Beaumont, Texas, it'll be 49 miles per hour. But if I back up to say like 1 a.m. in the morning, boom. Wow. I mean, you should check this out on Venture Sky. It'll let you go hour by hour and like this. Okay. So as it's hitting the Port Arthur area at 1 a.m. At first, they're going to see 81-mile-per-hour winds. That's not the wind gust. So let's look at what the wind gust at Port Arthur. Ooh, 109. So it'll be around 85, 73 to what I just said. To the east of Port Arthur along the coast, they're going to be looking at 107-mile-per-hour winds. That's not wind gusts. The wind gust is going to be at 122, 125, 128, 130, getting closer to the storm all the way up to 146 miles per hour wind gusts. Ooh, this looks really scary. Baytown, which is it's Baytown, Texas. That's where I was conceived, where my parents met in college back in 1975. They're still getting 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now, I know with Harvey, again, it was such a slow mover, and it had that tail out in the water, so it just kept dumping all this water. It flooded Baytown so bad. It's not supposed to do that this time. Fast mover, the precipitation, it still doesn't really look that bad. Baytown doesn't look like it's going to get the water that it did last time. It looks like Houston's getting 0 inches. Woodlands, north of Houston, 0 inches. Conroe, 0 inches. Well, at least in the middle of the night. Wow, isn't this storm humongous? I even read online somewhere that somebody said something like, oh, it's a fake storm or something. Like, do you have to call everything fake news, really? I can tell you right now, this is not a fake storm. It's just not. Laura's real. So I know my neighbors, they don't, I'll sit there and I'll be like, hey, you should be prepping ahead of time. I'm not worried about, dude, they split this morning. They were gone. They'll be back whenever is what they said. They're elderly. Yes, Francesca is awesome. Okay, so, some of the questions I'm asking myself, they're hard questions, but, I'm wondering if Lake Charles is even going to be there tomorrow morning. I can only imagine what kind of condition West Louisiana is going to be in when we wake up tomorrow morning. Lake Charles, been there many times, driven through there. I remember when I first had my firstborn son. He was like 2 weeks old. I was stir crazy. I wanted to go see my grandma in New Orleans and show her new great grandbaby. Stopped off in Lake Charles, and this restaurant had the best seafood stuffed baked potato. The sauce was creamy and so. I never found it again. Just a thought that Lake Charles might not be there. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine, right? Right? It's gonna be okay, right? Yeah. Because we're gonna pray. That's what I'm doing. One of my girlfriends on Facebook, she was letting me know she lives on closer to the east side. She's gonna be getting some tropical weather like I am. So, of course, I'm praying for her. I'm praying for everybody in between here in New Orleans. This is a big one. Okay, so just kind of a recap. Make sure you got your water, bottled waters, that you've got everything secured in your yard, frozen bottles of water to put in your refrigerator and your freezer. If you have extra propane, okay, just, try to make sure you got your phone charged. Make sure you know where everyone is, where all your animals are. This is something, I mean, somehow whatever's going on in Louisiana is going to affect everybody. It's like a drop in a pond. It ripples out. So we don't know what the unforeseen consequences are that, we don't know what factories we have that is distributing and supplying the rest of America with certain products. the lives of the people that work there. But when all this is occurring, the South, we do have a way of coming together that is always very inspiring. I know that we did no less during Hurricane Harvey. And it kind of touched me because I could see that obviously people in other parts of America aren't used to that kind of love and kindness and looking after your neighbors. But we have it down here in spades. And that's why I know that no matter what's happening now, what's happening during, and what is happening after, that the South, we're going to band together like we always do, and we're going to pull each other back up. And in the meantime, we're going to pray. All right. So I can't really think of much else, I can't really think of anything else that I really think that I can add to this. I think everything else is being pretty well discussed. But we can look at we're starting to get a little more rain. Just now started getting some down again. Some of us do need the rain. That's absolutely right. And when with a hot summer going on, the heat that we have, especially with those 102-degree temperatures that we had, just days ago. My heart likes to do this thing. Anyway, sorry, my little girl. Had to let her know. I think I was almost forgetting what I'm trying to say here. I don't get enough oxygen to my brain when my heart starts palpitating like that. But the rain, that's what I was talking about, is that with the temperatures that we've had, and we didn't really have as much rain as we wanted, it can make the ground underneath like rock and harder to absorb the water. So if you haven't really had a lot of rain and you start getting a lot of rain all of a sudden, you're going to have worse flooding because it's not going to absorb into the ground as well as you would hope it would. All right. We'll also, if you know where any storm drains are along your roadsides, you might, if they're in your area, you might want to check to make sure that they're clear, because you're going to need that drainage. Okay. That's just something to kind of think about. Some of you might be like, oh yeah, I do have a storm drain, right there on my road, and it does flood there all the time. Let me go get a rake and see what I can do about that. Right. Might save a lot of heartache for some of you. Anyway, yep, we do need the rain. No matter what, God's got us. Okay. No matter what, we're always in his hands. And I want to thank everybody for coming and for the thumbs up. And I will talk to you all relatively soon. God bless. Bye. Wow.